So my grandfather was born in 1914 in Berlin, Germany, and he did not grow up, contrary to what many people know or believe, he did not grow up religious. He grew up in a very, very secular home. His father was an anti-religious, almost anti-Jewish almost. Didn't want his child. He had only one son, only one child, which was my grandfather. Didn't really want him to have any involvement whatsoever in Judaism, Jewish life, or particularly not involved in Torah study. But as life had it, and how Hashem, paved the path for my grandfather, he ended up going to a yeshiva where he became a very, 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 very connected, very spiritual. Became one of the great leaders of our previous generation. And when he passed away in 2005, he was just an amazingly accomplished person. I'll just tell you one quick story. He made an agreement with his parents that if he goes to yeshiva for a couple of years, that he will go to university back in Berlin when he gets back after those 2 years. His last Shabbos before he was supposed to travel back, there was a Musar master who came to speak at his yeshiva. And this is the first Musar discourse he had ever heard in his life. He went to yeshiva, but they were focused on understanding Talmud, but not necessarily character development. And here he heard his first discourse in character development, and he was like blown away by it. And he runs over to the rabbi after the lecture, after the Shabbos. The scholar in residence, was talking about all of this, how to get to know oneself and to become a greater person. So imagine what one speech does. And he tells my grandfather, he says, "Listen, you have to go learn the Mir Yeshiva. Learn by Rabbi Yerucham, who was my grandfather's Rabbi eventually." And my grandfather sent a letter to his parents because they made an agreement he's going to go to university, right, after he's done this through those few years in yeshiva. So his parents were actually, his father was a big professor, had many, many different degrees in education, in languages, in many different. Either way, so they were on a cruise at the time, heading to Italy, or coming back from Italy. We're not sure if it was on the way to or from. And on the, one of the entertainments they had on the cruise was to a fortune teller. So they walked into the fortune teller, and the fortune teller says to them, "You have a son, and your son, when you arrive at your destination, will send you a letter, and you'll receive in this letter a very weird request, very odd request. Whatever he wants, let him do it." And in that letter, he asked to go learn the Mir Yeshiva. And he ended up in the Mir Yeshiva. My grandfather told me this many times. He said it many times, that the way it worked in the Mir Yeshiva is that you felt like your life began when you touched the doorknob of the yeshiva. Your life began anew because the focus was on identifying who you are, what your essence is. And that's what we're going to talk about in the coming weeks, is getting to know who we are. Who am I? Well, I'm a person, right? But every person is unique. Every person is different. And every person needs to identify who they are. What are their unique things? And once a person identifies, I'll give you an example. If a person is a gambler, but doesn't know that they're a gambler, they'll keep on gambling, right? If a person is addicted to soda, and they don't know that they're addicted to soda, they'll continue doing it, right? So you have to identify the pros and cons of each person, every person for themselves, and then you can so let's say a person is an angry person, right? They get angry very quickly. something happens, they get angry, they start yelling, they're screaming, or they boil it up inside. Oh, right, they're about to explode, right? So if a person doesn't identify that and doesn't know that, they will never be able to work on it and correct it. I was talking to my daughter and her friends. They were sitting here and they were talking about what psychologists do. What do they do? I said, psychologists don't fix your problems, but psychologists help bring to the fore underlying issues potentially, right? So if you have a struggle, you have a challenge, their goal, their objective should be to bring it to your recognition so that now you can work on it. Oh, but I don't want to know about it. Leave it in the back. I don't want to. No, you'll never work on it. You'll never perfect it. It'll always be there to bother you. If a person knows that they're angry, so that's why King Solomon tells us, if you criticize a smart person, they'll love you for it. Right? If you criticize a smart person, they will love you for it. Why? Because if they're smart, they want to become a better person. And if they learn about their flaws by you telling them you criticizing them, right? Then what will happen? They'll have the opportunity to now become a better person. So let's begin. My grandfather starts over here. Says, Kol Adam chayav ladat sheyesh lo chashivut. Every person needs to know that they're important. Every person, no matter who they are, you have to know something. Do you know what every person needs in the entire world? There's one ingredient that every single person needs. Every person you've ever met on planet Earth needs the same thing. They need to be unique. They need to be unique. If you notice, when you have a group of friends and everyone is sitting and schmoozing, everyone is talking when they get their chance to talk, and everyone is trying to show how they're unique. When you go into women, it's more right. It's more like this, right? If a woman walks into a wedding and someone's wearing the same exact dress as her,
That happened to me.
Right? Like you feel like, I want to be unique. I want to be the only one wearing this. Right? Now you know that the store sells many of them, right? But you don't want to see someone wearing exactly what you're wearing because you want to be special and unique. It's different with men because men ask, "Oh, I have the same suit. How much did you pay?" It's like, it doesn't. But there are different things that may bother a man. I want to buy. Like I have a friend of mine who spent a lot of money buying a brand new car, and I asked him, you spent a fortune of money. I mean, like almost $200,000 on this new car, right? And he said, but I was the only person in Houston to have it. I have to be unique. I have to be special. Everybody, every human being, every child, if you tell your child, you know what? You're so awesome, you're just like them. Right? How does that child feel? Just like them, so I'm not special. I want to feel unique. You're the most unique person. You're the most incredible person on planet Earth because you're the only you. Oh, it feels good, right? I'm special. Every human being has the desire to feel special. But you know what the Talmud says? The Talmud says exactly that. You are special, you are unique, and you're the only you there will ever be. You understand that, Linda? You understand that? You are the only Linda ever. Yeah, there are other people who may be called Linda, but they're not you. And the unique structure of you is you're the only one to have it. There's no one else on planet Earth who has the same structure that you have. The virtues, the qualities, the good traits, and the flaws, the negative traits. And the parents that you have, the background that you have, the knowledge that you have, the wisdom that you have, the intellect that you have, the kindness that you have, all of that structure, the spouse that you have, the children that you have, the challenges that you have, the opportunities that you have, you're the only person on planet Earth that has that. Are there other people who have nice families as well? Possibly. Are there other people who have a nice spouse as well? Possibly. Are there other people, right? Many people can have many other things that are similar to what we have, but the exact construct that we have, each one is unique. It's very, very important to remember this because the minute we understand that you, me, each one of us are unique people and there's no one like us on planet Earth, that is when we start realizing that we have our own purpose that we were placed in this world for. I wasn't placed in this world to just be a number. I wasn't placed in this world to just be another person. You're unique. You're special. Yes, Jay, what do you say on this Sunday?
Can you hear me?
No way.
You don't
Yeah, of
hear
course,
me.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
I was wondering how that correlates with the what I thought was an extreme desire to fit in. Is it sequential? Is being unique, a uniqueness first, and then the desire to fit in with others?
I don't think people have a desire to fit in. I think people have a desire to be accepted. Right? Why do people have a desire to fit in, like you're saying? Is because they want their uniqueness to be acknowledged. You understand?
Okay.
So here's a special individual named Jay, and Jay is special. He's unique. He's different than any other person on planet Earth. So now he wants his uniqueness to be accepted in the world. So it fits exactly into what we're saying. Your uniqueness, you want to be acknowledged and accepted for who you are, because you're different than anybody else. You're not the same. It's a big mistake that we've been brought up in this American culture that we need to, go to college, and we need to have a career, and we got to get a job, and then maybe get married, have a boy, a girl, and a dog, and then, have their 590 set up before they're 18 years old so that they can go to college, and then we're just here to be part of society and just no, that's not what we're here for. That's not why we're here. You're here for a totally different purpose. You're here to take all of the talents, all of the abilities, all of the challenges that God gave you to make the greatest person out of yourself. What's the way you do that? Yeah, we have tikkun olam. Yeah, we have acts of kindness. Yeah, we have being a member of community. Yeah, we have all of these things are part of us becoming the greatest me I can be. Yes.
How do you explain this concept to your average teenager who only want to, as you say, fit in?
Right, so teenagers need an abundance of love and encouragement to know that they are special, that they are unique, and that they're loved for it. They need to be reminded that. I say that women have a memory of 7 minutes. Okay, 7 minutes. I'll explain to you. I'll qualify it. Okay. This is an awesome woman right here. All right, this is Hadassah. Say hi. Say hello, everybody. Okay, tell mommy that you saw the class. Okay? Say bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Can Eliza call now?
Eliza, maybe I'll tell Eliza to call in. Okay? I'll see you soon. I gotta finish the class. All right, so...
No.
I need quiet. Okay? Thank you so much, sweetie. Shh. All right, I'm sorry. So, why do I say that women have a short memory? Okay, so I'll tell you my proof to it. Okay, they don't have by the way, I say this to guys who get married. I say men should forget all of their mistakes, because there's no use in two people remembering the same thing. Okay, your wife will remember it for you. Okay, she'll remind you of your mistakes. Don't worry. Right? Men just forget it right away because, okay. So, women have a fabulous memory, but for something else, I'm telling you that they have a short memory of 7 minutes. Okay. The Torah tells us, it says, "Uma Hashem shol mimach." What does Hashem ask of you? Our sages say, "Ma." It should really be read umeya. 100 Hashem is asking of you. What is 100? 100 blessings a day. A person should say 100 blessings a day. What does that mean? When we talk about blessings, what does blessings mean? That means acknowledging the blessing that the Almighty gives you. Acknowledging the gifts that the Almighty gives you. When you say a blessing on a drink, you know what you're doing? You're not thanking Hashem for the drink. You're acknowledging how gifted you are, how blessed you are by the Almighty's kindness. And we're saying, yes, in essence, we're saying thank you. But Hashem is not sitting there waiting. Oh, you didn't say thank you yet. You didn't say thank you yet. That's not the idea. The idea is that we need to be reminded of how gifted we are 100 times a day. So if you take the 18 hours of the day, okay, we'll do the math together. Okay? 18, how many hours are you awake? 16 hours. 16 times 24 is 384 minutes. Okay? 384 minutes a day that we're awake. Divided by 100 equals 3.84. But let's say we do, 24 hours, right? Times 60. So we have 1,440 minutes a day. I didn't calculate it right before. Okay, so we have 24 times 60 minutes. Okay, I didn't do that properly before. We do 16 times 24. Oh, it is correct. What am I doing? 16 times 60 equals 960, divided by 100 equals 9.6 minutes. So from the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep, every 9.6 minutes on average you should say a blessing. Why? To remind yourself how gifted you are. Well, I understand. I just said the blessing. What's the problem? Well, it takes about 9.6 minutes to forget how blessed you are. To take it for granted. To realize the gifts that you have to remind yourself every 9.6 minutes. I say that that's the span of a woman's memory. She needs to know how loved she is every 9.6 minutes. She needs to be reminded again and again and again every single day of how much she's loved. You agree, right? A woman needs to be reminded constantly of how much she's loved. I think today, teenagers, it's even less than that because of this generation of ADHDs. I don't think it's individuals who have ADHD. I think it's the whole generation who has ADHD, where we're being almost trained to be attention deficit disorder. Because do you know that the frame on a television screen changes every 4 seconds? Even you're watching a baseball game. You used to watch a baseball game, you would have one view of one camera, maybe another camera, and you watched a 3.5 hour game, watching it from the same perspective the entire time. As if you were in the broadcaster's booth. You're looking at the game from the front and you see the whole field, and that's the way you watch the baseball game. Today, you have you have an angle from this side, and 4 seconds later it's an angle from another side, an angle from another side, angle. So what happens is that we're training our brain to be constantly stimulated every 4 seconds, every 4 seconds, every 4 seconds. It's not a good thing, because we lose our ability to concentrate and focus, and so our children are learning to be jumping like that as well, every 4 seconds to see a new frame. Movies, there used to be long conversations in movies, right? It used to be, today, action, 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 different frame, different angle, different, right? It's very rare that you just have conversation. It's too boring. But we've created that need for constant stimulation. So when you talk about teenagers today, teenagers need to be reminded multiple times a day of how special they are, how awesome they are, how loved they are. My wife and I, we've set up a unscientific structure of criticism for our children. And that is, we cannot criticize our children unless we have told them 10 times how much we love them. Guess what? If you didn't tell them 10 times today how much you love them, you can't criticize them today. Okay? Now, we try to do it by 100,000 times before we criticize our kids, because thank God Hashem gifted us with amazing kids, so we don't need to criticize them. But we do need to guide them. We do. That's a parent's responsibility. But our children better know how much they're loved. And it's the only weapon we have today as parents. It's the only weapon we have as parents, is that love. And grandparents, by the way, as well. If those of us who are lucky to be grandparents, it's part of that responsibility to tell your children, even if they're married, how much you love them, and even if they have children, to tell the grandchildren how much you love them, because love is the glue that holds people together. Okay, so let's go back to getting to. I hope I answered your question, Ronnie. Okay, so. Kol Adam chayav ladat sheyesh lo chashivut. Every single person needs to know how important they are. Every single person needs to know how important they are. Every person you meet, whether it's the janitor in your office building, who's there mopping the floor, they also have a dignity. They also have a family they need to feed. They also have pride. They also have a human element to them. They're not just a robot cleaning a floor, taking out the garbage. They should, how are you? Good morning. Would you like something to drink? We have, thank God, we have UPS that comes to the neighborhood, and FedEx that comes to the neighborhood, and Amazon that comes to the neighborhood. You know, all of these drop-off and deliveries that you see all over our neighborhoods. And every single time I ask them, would you like something to drink? It's amazing how many times they'll say, yeah, I'm actually quite thirsty, and I'll give them 3 bottles of water, or, something. So I ask them if they want some other type of drink, if we have a Coke, a Sprite, something like that. But the idea is that we have to realize that they're a human being too. And I want to share with you something really beautiful. There's someone who walked into the Torch Center, and he says, I want you to know something, okay? He says, my UPS guy, it was a UPS guy. It was a UPS guy, came to deliver something to the Torch Center, and I invited him in. I said, here, it's very hot outside, come inside, have a cold drink. I said, do you want a coffee? He says, oh, you know what, I hadn't had a coffee in a while. I prepared him a hot coffee. He says to me, let me tell you something. He says, for 20 years I've been doing this route in Maryland area. He says, the Jewish community is the most amazing community on planet Earth. There's an African American driver of a UPS truck. He says, almost every single house that I go to deliver to, the Jewish people are asking me, do I want something to drink? Do I want something to eat? He says, when I got married, my fiance got very nervous about me because she saw that during the holiday season, I'd come back with a lot of gifts. She's like, who's giving you all these gifts? He says, all of my Jewish people that I deliver to, they buy me a gift for the holidays. So I have my own packages now, right? Packages that he's bringing home. That's because we need to be sensitive. We need to acknowledge that every person is a special human being. Every person is a special human being, right? And what people say, my cleaning lady has been working with us for almost 16 years. Very special lady, really special lady, and she's kind, she's friendly, she's a good person. You can see she's a good person, and I've been honored by this. I've been preparing her coffee every single morning for 15 years. Every single morning, when she comes, I give her coffee. I know exactly how she likes her coffee, and I bring it to her, and I thank her for coming and helping us and our family. Okay, because she has children, she has grandchildren, she has a dignity, she has a life, and I don't want her to feel that her job, her whatever it is that she does, is anything less valuable than what anybody else does, and that we appreciate it, right? So every single human being needs to feel acknowledged, needs to feel how important they are. There's no such thing as a person who doesn't have value. If they didn't have value, God would have taken them already. They have value, which is, by the way, the tool we use when we talk about loving every Jew. How do we love every Jew? You know how you love every Jew? I hate the guy. He just robbed my business. This person just cheated me. This person just lied to me. This person, right? Whatever it is. We have an obligation to love every person. Every person as we love ourselves. And in 2 weeks Torah portion, we're going to read this. You should love every person like yourself. Love your fellow like yourself. I love myself a whole lot. So I got to love my fellow like that? Yes. Why? How does that work? If I realize that they have some great qualities, I can push aside the negativity. I can push aside the negative experience I had. There was an individual that I didn't have much respect for, an individual in the community. It wasn't a great character. He doesn't live here anymore. But I realized that my displeasure with this individual was a little bit out of proportion. And it bothered me. Because that's not the Torah way to act. It's not the Torah way to deal with people. I wouldn't do anything publicly. I wouldn't embarrass the person. But it just, I didn't like this person. But that bothered me too. So I decided that I was going to embark on a 3-week series of talking about loving every single Jew. Loving every single Jew. And I did a lot of research on it. I did a lot of studying. I did a lot of learning, reading up many books about this mitzvah of loving every Jew like we love ourselves. And you know what I found is something really spectacular. And that is that if you realize that every person has qualities, every person has virtues, focus on the virtues and you'll start loving them. The problem is that the people we don't like, we focus on their flaws. The minute you start focusing on their qualities, you see that, wow, we have more in common than I thought. I like this person quite a lot. So I started doing that. And I realized, you know what? I don't like this specific part of this person. But everything else they're terrific about. So let me focus on that. And that was a really transformative experience for me to take someone who I had very little respect for, someone who I had very little regard for, because of things I knew they've done, but he was able to transform that into a loving relationship because I looked at their qualities. It's the same thing, by the way, in marriage and divorce, right? People who get divorced, right? I've heard people say the most awful things about their ex-husband or their ex-wife. Oh my goodness, you imagine, how do these people ever be in the same room together? They don't want to kill each other. Right? But there once was a time where they saw the virtue in one another. There once was a time when they loved each other. Right? Today may not be that day. But there once was that time because they focused on the good. Right? Or some would say, I didn't realize how bad they were. I didn't see different aspects of them. That's also possible. But the idea is that if we change the focus of what we change the emphasis of what we focus on, it changes the value we give to the other people. So, my grandfather again begins over here. He says, Kol Adam chayav ladat sheyesh la chashivut. He needs to know, every single person needs to know that they are important. Lo chashivut medumeh. Not an imaginary value, right? That a person thinks, oh, I'm really great. I'm real. Right? Don't get all arrogant about yourself. Shemachshiv shu machshiv atzmo be'atzmo. That he thinks highly of himself to himself, right? Ela chashivut ba'alat mashma'ut amuka ve'af mezazat. But a person should see the virtue, the quality, the potential that they have, the gifts that God has given them. The Talmud says an amazing thing. Kol echad ve'echad chayav lomar. Every person must say. Listen to this, okay? You hear this, Leah? Every person must say, Bishvili nivra ha'olam. The world was created for me. The world, you have to say it. The world was created for me. Right? And you know, most of you were thinking when I told you that I was supposed to be on an airplane right now, heading for a little vacation. I haven't gone on a vacation in a very, very long time with my wife. And we had an unbelievable Pesach, but she worked like so hard. We had 30 people, 3 meals for 10 days. Okay? Unbelievable. And each meal was exquisite. Like, you wonder, how did she do it, right? I told her, that's it. You make this Pesach. It was her family. It was all of her sisters came with their husbands and children, and her parents were there, and her brother was there. It was an unbelievable, over-the-top Pesach. Just magnificent. I said, you know what? Right after Pesach, we're going on a vacation. And today I wake up this morning, getting ready. My bags are packed. Everything's ready to go to the airport. Flight is delayed 2 hours. And then I get 10 minutes later, I get another message, flight's canceled. You're not going anywhere, right? Why? So I can look at it as like, oh, well, there are many things that happen in this world, and I happen to be a little player in it. Or I can follow what the Talmud says, Kol echad ve'echad chayav lomar. Every person must say the world was created for me. And you know why Hashem made this flight cancel? For me. So that I can teach this class right now. Hashem didn't want me to cancel this class. So Hashem said, no. I'm going to close the airport down in Miami, and you're not going anywhere. There's not a single flight. I called up Southwest this morning. There's not a single flight going to Florida today. Everything is canceled. What? I have reservations. I have a hotel. I have dinner. You're not going anywhere. You have a class to teach. Teach your class, and then we'll open up the skies. Right? A person must say this. Bishvili nivra olam. The world was created for me. It's not that I'm just a little nothing in this on the map. No. Hashem created the world because He wants you, each individual, to maximize their life, to maximize their world that they're living in. Rashi says, Klomar, chashuv ani ka'olam maleh. I am important like the entire world. A person should say that. I am important. Lo etrad et atzmi min ha'olam be'avera achat. I shouldn't remove myself from this world because of one sin. I shouldn't remove myself because of one mistake. I shouldn't remove myself, meaning because many times people like to knock themselves. Oh, look at me. I'm not worthy. Right? I'm not able. I'm not capable. Who am I? And people knock themselves. Says Rashi, no. We all make mistakes. Everybody has ups and downs. Every living being on planet Earth who ever lived on this world, made mistakes. Do you know that an EKG tells you the heart rhythm? How does the heart rhythm go? Up and down, up and down, up and down. That's the way humans are. We have ups and downs. But what happens if there's no more ups and downs? It's just straight line. You're dead. Dead people don't have ups and downs. Dead people don't have struggles. Dead people don't have challenges. And they don't have successes either. They're dead. Living people have challenges. Living people have great days and bad days, awesome days and awful days. That's the way living people are. We have to remember that. Just because I made a mistake, I believe that, I said this when we talked about the Jewish servant who says, I want to stay at my master for another 6 years, right? So you stay till the Shemitah year, and then he gets let free. And he says, no, but I like it here. It's great. I want to stay here by my master. It's comfortable. I like the wife he gave me. I have children here, raising my family. I have my master. I take care of him. You take him to the doorpost and you punch a hole in his ear. It's such an odd thing. Punch a hole in his ear, I understand. At the doorpost? Why at the doorpost? What did the doorpost do? Because what is a doorpost? A doorpost means you're leaving one space and entering into a new space. The threshold is identifying a new beginning. Here you had it, and that, by the way, we have a mezuzah at every beginning. You walk into every door in a Jewish home, there's a mezuzah to remind us, you know what, you may have made a mistake in that room. Guess what? You still have a new beginning now in the new room. You have a mezuzah to remind you. You have a whole new beginning. Start fresh. Not every day, not every week, not every month, not every year. Every time you walk into a new room, you have a new beginning. I made a mistake. Start over again. Start fresh. This individual didn't realize that he has a new beginning to open up, to start a new life, to be free. He says, I want to be a slave to my master further. Take him to that doorpost that he didn't realize was a new beginning and bore a hole through his ear. Right? The reason why the ear is because the same ear that heard God tell us you should be a servant to God is now saying, I want to be a servant to a servant. Right? And that's something that we have to always remember. So what the Talmud is teaching us here is that a person must say it. I want to share with you something that I just heard this week. You know, it's a very important point that a person, we need to psych ourselves up. We need to psych ourselves up. Right? If you want something to be important to you, talk about it to yourself, and it'll become important. You know, let me tell you. Imagine you want to start doing acts of kindness. So how will I influence myself? I have the thought, but why was it? Yeah, we have the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Right now we're in the days of counting the Omer. If you didn't remember yesterday was 14 days to the Omer, which is 2 weeks in the Omer. Okay, so yesterday was 14 days of the Omer. So the obvious question is, the Omer, counting the Omer. Guess what? If you decide the Omer is a great mitzvah, and I'm excited to do this mitzvah, and you say it, repeat it to yourself, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to be excited about that mitzvah. And if it's the mitzvah of visiting sick people, and you psych yourself up for it, you're going to be excited about that mitzvah. If you're like, it's a mitzvah, I have to do it, you know, you got to do what you got to do, so, right? Shabbos, you can psych yourself for Shabbos, starting from Sunday already. I prepare for Shabbos, I start preparing already Saturday night. Saturday night, I already prepared the candles for next Shabbos. Because I'm psyched. I'm excited for Shabbos. Can't wait for the next Shabbos. I don't want to rush out of Shabbos, but I want to get into the frame of mind already. Next Shabbos is coming already. Prepare the candles for next Shabbos already. A person needs to psych themselves, about how great they are. And we have to say, do you know something? No, I'm a great person. I can overcome this. I can do a good job. I made a mistake. I can do better. And I am going to do better. And when a person psychs themselves up, they're going to succeed at it. And that's what the Talmud says. The Talmud says, you have to say it. You're obligated to say it. You hear this, Leah? You have to say it. I am an exceptional person. Yo, say it. Psych yourself up. I'm an exceptional person. I'm a one of a kind. I'm the only me there will ever be. There's never anyone like me, and there will never ever be anyone like me again. I'm unique. I'm special. Talmud says, don't know it. Say it. Chayav lomar, you have to say it. Get excited about it. Because that will put us on a path of getting to know ourselves and seeing, wow, I have some special character. I have special abilities. Okay? So, we're going to continue this, God willing, next week. And we'll go into more and more of understanding how we identify our own virtues, our own qualities. Okay, everybody? If you have any questions, please ask. I don't hear you, Leah. You got to unmute your microphone.
I'm saying to Rabbi, it's beautiful.
Thank
Very
you.
Inspirational. I love it.
Thank you, Leah. I appreciate it.
When are we going to be able to get together in person?
So, I mean, the Torch Center is open, and most of my 99.9%, except for this one, I think it's the first class I've been giving at home in many, many months. But otherwise, the center's, I mean, it's available for everyone, even to social distance in the center. We have it all set up like that.
So are you going to have classes set up? We used to have it Monday. We used to have it Thursday.
Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, every day.
So Thursday you used to have it at 9:30, I believe.
That's correct. We still do it, but we do it on Zoom. If anybody wants to come live, we're welcome to do it live at the center.
Are you going to be there?
Well, not this week, but the following week. Someone else is going to be there this week. But yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Right, but I would like to recommend that only people who have the vaccine come, so that everybody feel comfortable. I don't have the vaccine yet because I'm still within the 90 days of having COVID.
Oh.
So as soon as I'm past that, I will get it. But I'm looking forward to that.
After your vaccine, then you can start coming in person.
That's right.
Yeah, that would be great.
And I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Excellent. All right, everybody, have a Yeah, Jay.
Quick point. There was a low level of static for the first time in your transmission. I just wanted you to be aware of that.
I'm sorry about that. I'm not using the highest quality camera on this device right now, so I'm aware that it's a little bit. Hopefully, you were able to hear what I was saying. Hopefully.
I was able to hear everything you said. It was just a low level.
All right, I apologize. Hopefully, it'll be improved in the future. Thank you for letting me know.
Have a wonderful trip, Rabbi.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So 1 second. Do you hear me? Do you hear me better now? Is it better now?
I still hear the.
You still hear the static. Yeah. All right. Hopefully, it'll be better in the future. Jerry, you're muted. I don't hear you.
Wait.
Your grandfather and the cruise and the soothsayer and all that.
What's that again?
Remember your...
Yeah, the story with my grandfather.
Right. So how frequently do you believe those people who make those predictions to you?
I'm not a big a believer in it, but it's something interesting.
No, because I've seen some of these guys, and
yeah, most of them are a scam. but you know what?
It's entertainment, but you know, to base your whole career upon a stranger who doesn't know you, you know.
100%. I thought it was very, you know, they were very superstitious people. And like, oh, he told them that, like, wow, like we better tell him, okay, you can do it.
But you know, I know my father would say, "Who is this guy?"
That's right. I would also say that.
Okay, I just wanted. I don't want people to believe in all this stuff because
100%. 100%.
But it sounded like he was on the right track. I mean, you know, even Bilam the prophet was right sometimes, right?
That's right. That's right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Okay. Thanks for that story.
Have a great week, everybody. Shavua Tov. Thank you so much.
Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you.